Okay, now this call is now being recorded. Okay, so now shall we start our class? We are now moving to our next topics on products and services in travel and tours business. Okay, to your group project or assignment. Semua okay?
Doktor, sorry nak tanya, due date assignment video bila ya?
Right after your semester break.
Okay, thank you doktor.
Saya akan bagi specific date, but you just submit link tu dalam Google Classroom. Okay, let me share you di Google Classroom dulu because saya nak semua orang upload in the right Google Classroom sebab saya takut nanti ada yang salah submit dekat tempat lain. Mana saya punya email? Okay, this is your Google Classroom untuk ATS 3053. So kalau you tengok, saya dah pun buatkan folder. So you submit your individual assignment di bahagian individual assignment punya folder ni. Okay. So it's still empty. Once you submit, then there appear your names and your project dekat dalam folder ni. You have two option, either you nak submit direct your video dalam Google Classroom ataupun you can send a link. I mean you upload in your YouTube and then you just send link saja. So you have two option. Kalau you punya video you tu terlalu besar, upload dalam YouTube dulu and then you just submit link dalam Google Classroom. Okay? So saya akan marking and then the marks will be released in your Google Classroom ni saja. Okay, so make sure everybody join this class using this code. Again, saya rasa only, let me check, 91 students saja yang baru register. I'm not sure whether your name is in the Google Classroom ataupun tak, right? You can check, this is one by one, your list name. Siapa yang tak ada lagi ataupun you cannot join, let me know, pass your email and then I will invite you through email. Okay, so make sure. Yep.
Saya tak ada doktor.
Okay, nanti you add using the code ataupun you can leave your email punya nama email you dan saya akan invite email punya notification. For else, kejap lagi saya akan appearkan code dulu. So you submit, you join dulu guna code. Right? Kalau tak boleh guna code dan baru you leave your email address so that saya akan invite through email. Okay, so this is all the name yang dah pun join Google Classroom. So make sure yang mana belum lagi daftar ataupun join Google Classroom, make sure you gunakan this code. Okay, copy code dulu, nanti after class then you can join our Google Classroom punya code. Okay, so ini untuk individual assignment. Same goes to project juga So this one is a folder for project. Jadi so make sure you masukkan juga you punya, dan untuk group project ni only leader saja yang upload you punya dokumen. Okay, wakil saja. So meaning to say kalau kita ada 13 group, so only 13 students saja yang upload. Dan the rest you tak perlu nak upload. Okay, make sure dalam you punya video ataupun you punya project tu tadi ada nama ahli dan juga your metric numbers. Okay. So that it's easy for me to detect which student yang tak masuk ataupun which group yang doesn't submit your project for travel and tours. So is it clear? I think individual assignment nanti saya akan letakkan due date dekat sini right after your semester break, and then group project is on week I think 12 or 13. Okay, so you still have time lah untuk you prepare for your group project. Any problem lagi related to your group project, group assignment before we start our class, lecture? Okay, clear? Okay, so kalau tak ada apa-apa, saya akan proceed dengan our next lecture. Dia tak keluar slideshow Okay, sekejap Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me start our lecture today. This is, we will focus on the product and services in travel and tours industry. Okay, so I think the previous topic we already discussed on, apa yang kita discuss last week?
Inbound, outbound, and domestic.
Okay, the types of tour operators. Okay, there are 3 types of tour operators: inbound, outbound, and domestic. Okay, before I forget, let me tell you, I already shared a video in e-learning related to what is inbound, outbound, and domestic. Okay, to make sure that you are really understand on the concept of each of the concept. Okay, so make sure you get the video tu dalam e-learning, because supposed to be saya masukkan dalam slide, tapi since slide saya dah pun release to you before the class, so that one the video tu saya just find out last couple of days, so saya dah upload dalam e-learning. Okay, so make sure you get the video tu and watch the video. It's just 2 or 3 minutes saja. Okay, then the rest we also discuss on the types of travel agency, betul? The wholesaler travel agency, retailers travel agency. There are a lot of types of travel agency, especially maybe they focus on the leisure, they focus on the business of the travel agency, as well as they also focus on domestic product and services. Okay, now with regards to the types of travel agency and tour operators, so basically both of them, either tour operators or travel agency, they may be offer the similar product and services, or maybe only there are few travel agency that might offer only one products only. Okay, so this is something that we will continue to discuss on what are the product and services that are available in travel and tourism industry. Okay, So there are four important contents that we will discuss today. First is what are the product and services, the types of package holiday, ancillary services in travel agency. Basically, what are the ancillary services that they offer and the special types of holiday offered by travel and cruise industry. Okay, this is the learning outcome. Okay, before we start, let we watch the video first. Boleh dengar voice dia ke ataupun you tak dengar?
Tak dengar, Doktor.
Tak dengar.
Tak dengar.
Oh, tak dengar. Tak apalah, nanti you tengok dalam video sebab saya tak boleh nak set. Okay, before this, have you heard about what is travelers and what is tourist? Okay, kalau you pernah tengok cerita TV3, jalan-jalan makan angin, right? Ataupun there is a one video ataupun documentary, The Bikers. Okay, I think TV3 juga or Astro, saya tak berapa ingat. Okay, kalau ataupun kalau you pernah tengok di dokumentari pasal Ki Razali, The Straits dia ada two version, international punya places, and then the other one is local punya documentary. So at the end of the video, Ki Razali akan mention be a traveler, not a tourist. Okay, so what are the difference between travelers and tourists? Ini two different things yang you kena get yourself to understand, because based on the video it shows that clearly, okay, who is the travelers and who is the tourist. Okay, to conclude from the content from the video, sometimes bila you jadi tourist, you akan berada pada what we call it, the play safe punya areas tau. You akan depends on other peoples untuk you travel. That's why you akan gunakan tourist guide, you akan berada di hotel yang selesa, you akan adakan diri, you letakkan diri you di comfort zone. While kalau you being travelers, basically travelers ni dia lebih dekat dengan produk ataupun dengan location ataupun dengan you try to gain the experience, the real experience. This is travelers. Dia tak nak berada pada comfort zone. That's why they are looking for a new experience ataupun they are looking for a new product untuk dia explore. Okay, so based on this video, basically you have to know who is your who is your customers basically. Kalau you jual package on behalf of travel agency, ataupun maybe perhaps in future you akan jadi workers ataupun employees in travel and tours industry, so you have to know who is your target for your package. Either you want to sell a package for the travelers or you want to sell the package for the tourists. But most probably based on the previous ataupun based on the the nature of the tourist, the travel and tourism industry ni, dia punya customer adalah based on tourists. That's why they will provide you with the tourist guide. They will provide you with a tour leader. And in fact, they will provide you with the comfortable punya areas ataupun activity ataupun services supaya you rasa that the feelings untuk travel ke sesuatu tempat. Okay, untuk travelers biasanya they go for backpackers ataupun solo travel. Dia tak prefer untuk pergi by group because they want to gain the real experience from the tourist attraction yang dia pergi itu tadi ataupun di location yang dia pilih untuk dia gain that experience. Okay, so this is the new terms yang you kena familiarize supaya at the end of this kursus you have to know who is your main target ataupun who is your what is the niche of the product ataupun services yang you akan offer kepada your customers. Okay. Now, so we go to the first topics on the product and services offered in travel agency. Okay, there are 5 main products yang kita jual. Okay, sekarang ni starting from this topic, you have to get yourself familiar with each of the terms yang saya akan gunakan ni. Okay, because all of these term ni nanti adalah term yang diguna pakai di dalam travel and tourism industry. Okay, so you kena identify and you have to make sure that you fully understand each of the component for all of these elements. Okay, so now we are going to discuss on what is all-inclusive package, full board package, half board package, bed and breakfast, and chef and catering. Alright, so now we go one by one. Okay. All-inclusive package ni, the holiday includes everything. Okay, all in. Maksudnya all-inclusive ni all in. Nothing is left for the sake of for you to travel. Okay, that's why all-inclusive package ni dia kata include everything, food, drink, water sport, other entertainment, and in fact dia ada okay, dia ada hotel, accommodation, transportation, accommodation, activities, food and beverage, everything. Maksudnya all inclusive ni adalah a complete set. Okay, a complete set for tourists to travel. Dia tak ada apa yang left in this package. So maksudnya bila you provide all inclusive package, 3 perkara penting yang turis perlu tahu. Yang pertama apa? Food and beverage. Okay, makanan. Itu adalah keperluan asas. Yang kedua, accommodation, penginapan. Yang ketiga, transportation. Ini 3 main element untuk you travel. But for inclusive package ni, basically you akan add on apa lagi keperluan penting yang orang nak travel. Yang keempat, mestilah activity. Okay, apa yang activity yang you provide. Then maybe you akan provide any ancillary services required by the customer. Okay, itu yang pertama. So yang kedua, kalau when we talk about full board pula, full board ni you kena ingat dia hanya melibatkan 3 main element yang saya cakap tadi. Okay, yang pertama adalah F&B, food and beverage. Yang kedua, accommodation. Dan yang ketiga, transportation. Itu F&B, itu full board. Okay, sebab tu kalau you tengok dalam mana-mana package yang dijual di travel agency, dia akan highlight full board package, half board package, ataupun all inclusive ataupun all in. Okay, so ini adalah 3 benda yang di provide. Okay, ini contohnya. So kalau you tengok Krabi 4 days 3 night all in full board meal. All in full board, tapi dia still gunakan perkataan full board. Jadi kalau you tengok dekat sini, maklumat yang dia highlight kat sini, dia masukkan hotel, transportation, entrance fee, meals and tipping. Okay, so maksudnya dekat sini based on the Krabi punya ni, sepatutnya dia adalah all inclusive package. Tapi dia highlightkan juga full board tu sebab dia nak highlight adanya transport, adanya hotel dan adanya 3 meal breakfast. Okay, kalau full board as I mentioned tadi, dia mesti melibatkan 3 meals 3 times for meals. Okay, itu kita panggil full board. Kalau half board, okay, yang ini half board ni dia melibatkan 3 elements juga, F&B, accommodation, transportation, tetapi meals dia hanya dia provide at least 1 times meal saja. Sebab tu kalau you tengok kat sini tadi, half board package yang ni, dia akan provide you sama ada breakfast ataupun dinner ataupun 2 perkara saja. Maksudnya bila dia melibatkan 3 kali makan, dia dah include as a full board. Tapi kalau dia hanya melibatkan 1 ataupun 2 makan, dia akan menjadi half board package. Tapi half board ni sometimes dia akan berbeza-beza pada setiap travel agency. Some travel agency, they prefer half board package ni normally for breakfast saja. Dia tak akan provide untuk lunch ataupun dinner. Because that breakfast tu basically included dalam accommodation, hotel. Okay, so the rest tu dia tak akan provide. That's why dia consider as a half board package. Okay, so boleh faham jadi kita ada 3 main yang ini tiga produk ni, all inclusive, full board and half board ni adalah 3 perkara ataupun produk utama yang dijual di mana-mana tour operators ataupun travel agency. Okay, so kalau yang keempat, bed and breakfast ni pula normally they go for safe ataupun travelers ataupun backpackers. Okay, dia hanya provide bed and breakfast saja, bilik dan juga makanan. Transportation ni not included dalam dia punya package, tapi they will provide the service. Okay, kalau you nak, you bayar. Kalau you tak nak, it's okay. It doesn't include in your package. Okay, tapi bed and breakfast ni they only cater for backpackers lah ataupun solo travelers. Okay, yang mana dia pergi ataupun dia pergi dalam small group punya turis. Okay, not more than 10 or 20 packs. Okay, so bed and breakfast is cater for those who are looking for the cheapest ataupun the easiest ataupun the convenience punya package and make them comfortable with their own style punya package yang dia beli. Okay, so ini yang dipanggil bed and breakfast. And then the last one is self catering, yang ini lebih kepada you memasak sendiri. It's not focused on the apartment itself, but it's focused on either you go for camping, you go for apartment punya style, but you travel but you cook for your own. You doesn't require any service from a hotel, ataupun you doesn't require any service from other F&B punya operators. Okay. So ini adalah 5 elements that you have to get yourself understand. Because next week bila you buat itinerary planning and you buat costing nanti, you kena identify which elements yang you nak masukkan dalam you punya package, you punya product yang you nak offer kepada customer you. Okay. So untuk 5 elements ni ada apa? Okay?
Doktor,
Ya.
kalau macam self catering tu maksudnya dia sediakan tempat sahaja. Maksudnya.
Betul. Dia provide accommodation that facilities to allow you to cook and to cater for yourself. Sebab tu kalau self catering normally they don't prefer hotel because hotel doesn't allow you to cook. It's more focused on guest house ataupun is focused on apartment which allow you to cook for yourself. Okay, so dia takkan pergi ke tempat yang doesn't allow you to that they didn't provide you for cooking service. Ini bukan catering yang you masak untuk orang kenduri ke whatsoever tau. That one doesn't relate with this term. Okay, even though they use the same term catering. Ini kita panggil self catering. You memasak untuk diri you sendiri. Okay. Kalau sekarang ni you banyak guna, kalau you pernah dengar Airbnb. Okay, Airbnb ni dia provide yang mana kalau you ada duit ataupun you berkemampuan, you beli kondo, you beli apartment, you beli rumah, then you sewakan rumah you kepada third party, kepada turis ataupun travelers tu tadi, and this tourist your customer ni dia memang required that facilities untuk dia memasak dalam rumah you, and you allow them to cook for their own. Ini kita panggil self catering. Okay, yang ni you normally, that's why as I mentioned tadi, you pergi based on your group, you doesn't mix with other groups because you want to stay at one house ataupun in one apartment ke, for example, with your own family ataupun with your own your friends ke, and then you cook for yourself, you prepare for your group saja. Okay, so this is 5 elements in product that's offered to customer by tour operators and travel agency. Okay, now we move to other types of product and services yang available di Malaysia. I thought much on Malaysian punya perspektif. Ada sesetengah tu dia mix, ada yang offer di Malaysia dan ada yang offer di overseas. Okay. Yang pertama, cruise package. Okay, normally kalau when we talk about cruise di Malaysia ni sekarang ini, I mean we talk before the pandemic lah. Okay, cruise ni di Malaysia hanya ditawarkan di they offer the cruise service di Port Klang, okay, Pelabuhan Klang and Penang. Okay, ada dua port untuk you start dengan cruise, and there are 2 types of cruise yang available di Malaysia, Libra dengan Virgo. So yang ini yang terbaru pula, I think couple of years dulu kita dah start or the demand increase Islamic Cruise, okay, yang dia appoint ustaz-ustaz, personality TV, alright, artis to be their duta, ambassador for the cruise. So those who fanatic with that particular personality ni, they will join this package to stay with that personality tu tadi, and then you will have an activity together with them for at least 4 to 5 days. Okay, kalau macam package daripada Port Klang, dia akan travel, dia akan buat package daripada Kelang, akan singgah di Penang ke Phuket, Krabi dan Phuket, dan balik semula ke Port Klang. Kalau daripada Penang pula, dia akan singgah sama juga, dia akan ambil Penang, Krabi ke Phuket dan akan patah balik ke Penang. Okay, so ini antara package yang ada offer di Malaysia saja. Okay, kalau you tengok yang macam yang contoh ni adalah Sheikh Muzaffar. Once upon a time dia memang famous, dan people who are very admire Sheikh Muzaffar, dia akan join this package untuk you get close with him during the cruise package. Okay, ini antara cara untuk orang jual dia package. Okay, so yang kedua, produk yang juga yang di-offer di tour agency di Malaysia adalah Coach Holiday. Coach Holiday ni dia fokus on ground management sajalah. Ground management ni ataupun ground arrangement ni adalah dia offer schedule coach services, ataupun dia hanya offer more on transportation. Kalau schedule ni yang ni dia lebih kepada contohnya ada travel agency ni dia tak jual package all inclusive package, tapi dia provide transportation saja. Dia provide sewa bus, dia provide sewa van, dia provide sewa kereta. In fact, they may have their own transportation punya service. Tapi dia register as a travel agency, because travel agency saja yang allow ataupun give you permission to provide the transportation service. Okay, that's why bila kita panggil Coach Holiday ni, you kena identify ada travel agency yang memang dia only provide for arrangement of transportation saja. Yang kedua, mungkin dia sewakan kepada orang tu, dia self driving. Okay, yang kedua, maybe dia provide drivers dia sendiri. Contoh macam bus, dia ada drivers, then you arrange sendiri you punya tour tu, dia hanya provide bus saja. Kemana you nak pergi, then they will bring you there. Okay, ada juga Coach Holiday yang dia provide bus, then you drive sendiri. Okay, so ini ada dua benda yang dua servis lah yang normally you akan dapat bila you deal dengan mana-mana travel agency yang provide Coach Holidays. Okay, yang ketiga, tickets for travel. Tickets ni normally they offer for rail, sea and land based service. Okay, maksudnya travel agency tu dia jual lah package tiket flight. Okay, macam sekarang Malaysian Airlines, Qatar Airlines, Etihad Airlines for example, they doesn't allow you to book online for example. Then you have to go to travel agency, because all the travel agency they are registered under IATA, IATA. So this IATA that give you permission to buy to sell a ticket flight on behalf of airlines that has been registered under IATA, and except for AirAsia. Okay, AirAsia dia tak they doesn't use any system to sell their package and sell their tickets. Okay, that's why customer kita boleh beli tiket flight AirAsia online je, through online saja. And most likely since I think last 3 or 4 years ago, most of the airlines they start using their own website to sell online tickets to the customer. Okay, so ini ada beberapa elements ataupun perubahan lah, the changing in travel and tourism industry before the pandemic. Okay, so dia guna beberapa kaedah dan cara tersendiri untuk dia sell their package. Okay, other than that, kita juga boleh dapatkan package tiket cruise, tiket bus, tiket kereta api dan sebagainya juga melalui travel agency. Okay, tapi most of the providers, the suppliers ni, they prefer to have their own online service to make customer keep close with them and they feel more comfortable to buy their own tickets. Okay. Alright, sama macam tadi, air travel tadi, okay, apa-apa flight travel agency and most likely bila you beli dengan travel agency tiket flight, if anything happen during your travelling punya period tu, you can claim ataupun you can direct deal with travel agency. Kalau you book online ataupun you buy your ticket online direct through the airline punya company, if anything happen, you have to direct to the company punya service. I share with you my tiket Scoot Airline. Kalau you pernah dengar Scoot Airline by Singapore. Okay, masa tu saya nak travel from Kota Baru to Gold Coast, Australia. So saya I bought a ticket from Kota Baru to Singapore. Okay, transit to Singapore. Kota Baru to Singapore only 1 hours. Okay, and then transit to Singapore. And then I take after 1 hour, I took a flight from Singapore direct to Gold Coast for 8 hours, 8 jam flight. So kita check in bag everything from Kota Baru direct to Gold Coast. But however, when we transit to Singapore tu, bila saya sampai di Gold Coast keesokan paginya, saya naik flight tu malam from Singapore. I think around 8 malam, 9 malam macam itulah last year. And then we arrive dekat Gold Coast around 7 AM waktu tempatan. Alright. Then suddenly is a incident kat Gold Coast punya airport. Bila kita tunggu at the end of the dia punya flight punya luggage punya area tu, I didn't find any my own luggage. So I have to direct deal with this Scoot Airline, call Scoot Airline, get their customer service. I have to arrange myself. Okay, because I bought the tickets online through Scoot Airline. And then after 2 days barulah Scoot Airline give a response. Then immediately they send back my luggage. Rupanya luggage saya tak transit di Singapore, but it takes to another places yang sepatutnya flight tu transit di Singapore, tapi dia dah fly ke tempat lain together with my bag. So after 2 days barulah saya dapat balik tiket bag saya. You just imagine I travel to Gold Coast tu without my attire and everything for 2 days. So saya terpaksa spend my money untuk beli baju lain untuk for 2 days tu tadi, baju, everything. Okay. And at the end of the discussion dengan Scoot Airline, they give me what we call it, if you buy insurance, ticket insurance, then you can claim for dipanggil damage, loss and found punya term. Okay, then they will pay back for how long you have to wait for your luggage. At least bila you dapat claim insurance tu, you bolehlah cover balik beli baju and everything for at least 2 days yang you missing you punya bag. So this is all the things that you have to know bila you deal either you direct buy your tickets ataupun your service ni ataupun your product direct through suppliers ataupun direct through travel agency. That's why people prefer to deal with travel agency ni sebab if anything happen, travel agency yang akan uruskan on behalf of you as a customer. Okay, but as for me, for your information, as I mentioned before this, saya adalah travellers. That's why it doesn't mean that I didn't support travel agency, but most likely bila saya travel, I did for my own. Saya adalah backpackers, jadi I bought my own ticket. I book a hotel direct to the hotel. I didn't use travel agency, even though to fly to overseas. Because we have a friends who are familiar with that particular places. But somehow, contohnya macam saya pergi umrah, I still use travel agency service because the requirement of the Saudi Arabia punya policy doesn't allow you to travel as a backpackers. Before this, they allow you for backpackers punya travelers to umrah and hajj. But since last 2 years, saya rasa last 3 years, Saudi Arabia, they start announce there is no more backpackers punya package ataupun there is no more backpackers punya registration are allowed in Mekah and Madinah. Therefore, bila you nak register visa, you want to apply for visa to Saudi Arabia, Mekah and Madinah, you have to prove that you buy or you deal with the travel agency to arrange your umrah package ataupun hajj package. Okay, so this is all the things that you need to get all the information if you join this travel and tourism industry. This is what we call it policy and procedures in travel agency, which kita akan discuss this topic I think on week 8 something like that. Week 8 or 7 nanti on how to setting up and manage the package by travel and tours agency. Okay, so next land base macam biasalah, rail, coach, hire, car hire, sea base, tiket ferry. That's why kalau you perasan di Langkawi, kalau you nak ambil tiket flight ke Langkawi, either from Kuala Muda ataupun Kuala Perlis, you kena beli ticket flight from company, okay, which company tu they have to register as a tour operators ataupun travel agency. That's why kalau you tengok dekat tiket dia tu pun dia akan ada nama tu which require them to register as a transportation punya providers. Okay, so this is all the product and services offered by travel agency. Okay, now we talk about ancillary services. Ancillary services ni basically adalah perkhidmatan tambahan. Macam saya mention dulu, ancillary tu meaning that if you get that service, you can travel. Tapi if you didn't get that service pun, you still can travel. Okay, it's not a compulsory services for you to travel. Okay, so ancillary ni contohnya, kalau you tengok, it is an additional or supplementary services that travel agency offer to customer who buy their product. Maksudnya masa you jual package you kepada customer, they will ask you, okay, do you need this service? Airport lounge for example. For example, kalau macam saya transit, saya nak fly ke Istanbul a couple of years ago, saya transit di Dubai. Okay, di Dubai, then they ask me either I need a airport lounge service ataupun tak. So that I told them that I doesn't require airport lounge because I just transit for 1 hour. So saya just turun daripada flight, go to the toilet and then get back the flight to continue our journey to Istanbul. So they might ask you all this service ni either to make you comfortable while you are travelling. Yang biasanya people request adalah late check-out, because sometimes bila flight you biasanya after 12 PM you require a late checkout. Takkan you nak stay dekat hotel, dekat airport for a long period of time. Jadi you akan request for late checkout. Then maybe you akan request for seats together. You go with your husband, your family for example, then you require a seat together untuk you get close for each other. Right? So this is all the ancillary services provided by the travel agency or tour operators. Okay? Right? Okay. Boleh faham ke? This is the topic that we already discussed just now. Anything that you like to ask or to share?
Doktor,
Yeah.
kalau macam dia menawarkan servis kabel car kan, dia perlu berdaftar juga ke dekat bawah travel and tour agency ke ataupun mana-mana agensi?
No, any entrance fee ataupun dia panggil tickets adalah registered di bawah company saja. For example, cable car tu dia adalah entrance fee ataupun tiket saja. Dia bukannya consider as a transportation service. Faham eh? Kalau macam ferry tadi, dia adalah transportation service. Jadi kalau orang tu tak pergi tak menggunakan that ferry tu punya tiket, ferry tu punya service, you cannot go to Langkawi for example. Tapi kalau tiket cable car either di Langkawi ke Genting, dia hanya required SSM ataupun company punya registration saja untuk you jual that tiket. Same goes to theme park, taman tema. Okay, taman tema ni dia juga di bawah company itu saja yang registered company which they offer theme park, they offer accommodation as well, ataupun ada services di theme park itu saja. Okay, lain.
Okay, terima kasih doktor.
Cakap ni boleh faham So dalam travel agency ni based on the video that we share just now, there are 3 types of scenario which satu adalah corporate travel agency, satu adalah leisure travel agency and satu lagi adalah online. Okay, that's why in our situation sekarang ni di Malaysia dia ada pelbagai isu ataupun senario lah that we have discussed further in research. Okay, especially kalau you perasan ada satu isu ataupun satu soalan yang saya tanya dalam tutorial question, with the existing of online transaction ataupun online punya teknologi ni, can travel agency sustain their business? Betul? Kalau you fikirkan lebih baik orang beli tiket flight online, kenapa nak pergi travel agency? Betul? And then mungkin ada orang fikir kalau I boleh travel sendiri, why should I buy a package from travel agency? Right? So ini satu benda yang sentiasa bermain di fikiran for those who are being a travelers, not a tourist. Sebab tu ada beza antara travelers and tourists. Travel agency, they're more focus on tourists. Dia takkan fokus on travelers. So, dalam dunia ni, in fact dalam Malaysia ni kita ada beratus juta manusia which tak semua orang prefer untuk being a travelers. Okay, ada orang dia lebih prefer untuk jadi tourist. So bila dia jadi tourist, everything is support ataupun provide by travel agency. Therefore, travel agency you have to be very creative in order to cater this customer. Okay, contohnya lagi, you ada duit, so you akan fikir, why should I spend my money and arrange my own travelling punya arrangement? Lebih baik saya bayar je orang, everything is prepared by the third party. Therefore, travel agency ni akan survive. Travel agency ni dia boleh sustain their business because ada this type of people who are being a tourist, not a travelers. Okay, kalau macam saya, kalau ada 100,000 orang macam saya yang being a travelers, of course akan lingkup travel agency because for us, we doesn't require a travel agency punya service because we can arrange our own trip, we can arrange our own activity and we can arrange our own requirement. So we doesn't need the travel agency punya service. Okay, so this is something that you have to look into on why the product and services too should be provided by the travel agency. You have to be more creative in designing your package, in offering your service in order to cater your own target ataupun your own customers. Okay, boleh faham setakat tu? Semua orang masih bersama saya ataupun you dah terbang di awangan? I think
Ada doktor.
Okay, alright. Thank you for so much for being maintain. It's okay. You can get your lunch while having a lecture. It's 12 o'clock already. Okay. As I mentioned last week pun pukul 12, 11 sampai pukul 1 ni sebenarnya tak. It's not a comfortable time to to have a lecture kan, because sometimes ada orang required you untuk prepare lunch for your family, but you have to arrange your time lah. Kalau you rasa you ada kelas pukul 11 sampai pukul 1, then you masak sebelum pukul 11 supaya everything is there. So after lecture pukul 1, then you can have your lunch with your family. Alright? Okay. Can I proceed to the next topic? Okay semua?
Okay, doktor.
Alright.
Okay, doktor.
Okay, the next topic is focus on special interest tourism ataupun SIT. Okay, ini another terms that you have to look into all of the elements yang when we talk about special interest tourism. Dia adalah satu term dalam tourism, special interest tourism. So what is basically special interest tourism? It can be defined as a form of tourism which involve customer, okay, whose holiday choice is inspired by specific motivation. Okay, itu term dia. Okay, maksudnya melibatkan kita as a customer ni, yang mana bila kita pergi melancong ataupun bila kita travel ke sesuatu tempat tu, dia dimotivasikan oleh kita punya our own interest ataupun we admire on something. Okay, sebab tu kita pergi travel ke tempat tu, and whose level of satisfaction is determined by the experience they pursue. Maksudnya you bukan pergi travel for the sake of following your friends, tapi you pergi ke tempat tu because of your interest you be motivated by having your real experience. For example, kalau you minat untuk mendalami orang asli punya budaya, culture and heritage of indigenous people for example, and then you go for that particular places ataupun you travel to that area tu purposely for SIT product, special interest tourism. Ini yang kita panggil one of the product that exists in tourism industry. Okay, apa antara contoh produk-produk SIT? Okay, special interest tourism ni dia cover among this lah, maybe ada lagi yang lain-lain, tapi ini antara term-term yang kita guna pakai. That's why dalam you punya package hari tu yang saya bagi tu adalah based on the special interest tourism. Okay, kalau you kena create a package on heritage, for example, heritage tourism. Jadi you kena create a package according to, kalau you minat on heritage, you kena cari orang yang minat heritage. Apa sebenarnya yang you minat untuk tengok, apa yang you minat untuk pergi, kenapa you minat untuk pergi, dan apa elemen-elemen of heritage yang you nak ada dalam package you. Right? Kalau you, let's say you go, you create a package for one by one, rural tourism. Rural tourism is pelancongan luar bandar. So we can define rural tourism which the area of 50 kilometers far away from the city areas. Okay, contohnya di kawasan pedalaman. Okay, dia ada nature resources. So you can do any adventurous activity dalam kawasan rural tourism tadi. So rural tourism can be matched ataupun combined with adventure tourism, with nature tourism, which they require a rural area to do that activities. Okay, educational tourism, pelancongan pendidikan. What are the elements of educational tourism? Mestilah bila you travel tu you akan belajar. Normally educational is meant for school student, for example, higher education student, for example, and in fact for retirement senior citizen, they still require education tourism. Bila dia pergi travel, not just for being really stressed, but they go for to learn something, a new thing which doesn't allow them to do that activity before they retire. Okay, so this is all the elements yang included under SIT. Aboriginal culture and indigenous tourism, orang asli. Health tourism, pelancongan kesihatan. Environmental tourism, pelancongan persekitaran. Okay, wine and food tourism nowadays called as a gastronomy tourism or food tourism. Okay, festival and event is more on MICE. Dark tourism as well. Okay, dark tourism is more on apa dipanggil ni, bukan pelancongan gelap. It is focused on the based on the previous issue ataupun incident. Contohnya location itu tapak tu bekas tapak peperangan contohnya, which still under construction, conservation dan sebagainya. So that one is considered as a dark tourism. Number two, dark tourism can be considered which that allow you to get the real experience from the previous tragedies ataupun incident. So itu juga kita consider as a dark tourism. Okay, so this is among the elements of SIT, Special Interest Tourism. In fact, ada juga yang cater SIT ni dalam bentuk-bentuk yang sama, CTO Special Interest Tourism. Okay, so ini adalah antara elemen-elemen yang you have to get yourself familiarized on each of the terms yang kita guna dalam Special Interest Tourism. Alright, Special Interest Tourism juga antara elements yang kita ataupun faktor-faktor yang mempengaruhi ataupun membuatkan orang untuk travel for the sake of SIT ni adalah yang pertama adalah untuk get the short break. Okay, short break ni adalah bila you pressure from work. Okay, you dah ada banyak tekanan-tekanan kerja, then you have to get a short break. That's why orang kata kalau you stress, go lah for short break for example, okay, just 2-3 days untuk you release your stress, come back and then get a new environment or new spirit to accomplish your job ataupun task punya responsibility. Okay, and then you get a short break because tiba-tiba AirAsia offer tiket flight murah for example, macam sekarang ada tiket AirAsia Kota Baru direct to Langkawi RM59. So saya pun dah beli tiket ke Kota Baru ke Langkawi bulan 12 ni. Okay, sebab dia tengah offer. Saya tak ada plan, tiba-tiba ada offer free, ada offer murah for example, then I take a short break. Okay, because of low cost airline punya flight. And then maybe ada orang pergi short break because of family commitments. Okay, ada orang husband dia tengah kursus, so anak-anak dia tak ada orang jaga, then you have to take a short break because of family commitment. Okay, a greater choice, banyak sangat pilihan. Hotel tu buat offer, hotel ni buat offer, then okay, why not we take a short break. Jadi you pergi because of ada banyak pilihan yang ada. Many new and interesting or exciting activities. Banyak sangat macam sekarang, ialah during pandemics ni, tak katalah all of the tourism operators ni sekarang tengah very critical, so they have to be very creative untuk offer ataupun buat promotion lah for their product, sebab this is the only things that can attract people to come to their places ataupun dia hotel. Sebab tu kalau you tengok banyak sangat hotel yang daripada 500 satu malam now go down to 2 to 300 ringgit saja. At least they can cover for their utilities dengan dia punya workers punya cost saja. Alright. And then last short break ni benefits for more than one long holiday which can help to break up a long winter during jadi lebih kepada overseas lah. Sometimes di negara dia bila sampai musim sejuk, they don't want to stay at their country. That's why they travel to negara-negara panas untuk they get released. For them short break untuk negara international tourist ni is more than 1 week basically. Untuk kita, nature kita lah, culture kita di Malaysia, kalau when talk about short break biasanya 2-3 hari je. Kita tak pergi tinggalkan tempat kita, rumah kita for a long 1 week or more than 1 month. That one kita memang dah consider as a long break lah. Okay, that's why you punya semester break kita panggil short semester break. Okay, kita tak panggil long semester break kecuali you cuti untuk 2 bulan atau 3 bulan yang semester break. Okay, so this is all the factors kenapa orang take a short break in order to get a special interest tourism punya product. Okay, next is a special interest holiday. Special interest holiday ni can be divided into certain group. Ada orang yang pergi special interest holiday ataupun you as a travel agency ni, you nak offer package ataupun produk you kena tengok kepada faktor yang pertama adalah umur. Takkan umur 50 ke atas you nak offer adventurous activity. Okay, that doesn't involve with that activity anymore because the age doesn't allow them. Tapi sekarang ramai retirement ni dia fokus on cycling saja. Okay, which is just a leisure lah, pergi cycle untuk cycling untuk relax, tenang, just jalan-jalan. They didn't go for adventurous activity anymore. Ada orang yang fokus on destination interest. Contohnya, the only experience that you can gain from that particular activity tu hanya di tempat tu. So therefore, you have to go to that particular places to gain that experience. Okay, contohnya lah kalau you kata you nak main salji, so you kena pergilah ke negara yang ada salji untuk you dapatkan that real experience. Kalau di Malaysia tak ada salji tapi you pergilah ke ICT Shah Alam contohnya, adalah tempat yang boleh menampakkan, merasai pengalaman sejuk menggunakan air batu for example. Jadi this is all the special interest holiday yang you have to offer to your customer. Okay, ada orang nakkan lebih kepada water based activity, so dia kena pergilah ke tempat yang ada air, baru dia boleh buat that activity. Okay, dan last sekali adalah based on the venue, lokasi ataupun tempat tu sendiri, di mana ada orang pergi ke satu tempat because of the uniqueness of that places tu, barulah dia akan rasa the feeling of being a traveller ataupun being a tourist. Okay, so ini antara special interest holiday. Okay, yang pertama kalau you tengok pada type of special interest holiday ni, ini antara contoh-contoh aktiviti ya, saya go very short. Okay, hang gliding ni, hang gliding yang macam dalam gambar ni lah. So dia terbang menggunakan satu alatan yang direka cipta. Kalau di Malaysia saya rasa sebelum ni dia panggil luncur udara ni, sebelum ni ada di Selangor, tapi I'm not sure sekarang ni masih wujud ke tak. Tapi di Selangor pun dia ada offer dua benda lah, hang gliding dengan paragliding. Okay, Kelly Castle kalau di Malaysia kita ada di nama apa tu, Perak kan?
Dekat Batu Gajah.
Right, so ini antara maksudnya kalau you tak pergi ke tempat tu, you takkan dapat that experience ataupun the information ataupun the product tu sendiri. That's why you kena pergi ke situ, barulah you dapat that activity tu. Kejap alright. So yang kat tepi ni kalau you tengok number 1 antique, archaeology, Atlantic, bird watching, botany ni tak ada kaitan lah dengan hang gliding, but it is something explanation for each of the activities that provided. Okay. Next is sailing. Sailing ni saya rasa dekat Malaysia pun semua ada, tapi tak semua kita panggil biasanya amatur saja ataupun atlet saja yang involve dengan this activity. Yang kalau customer lain ataupun regular ataupun visitors ni, biasanya we doesn't get involved directly lah dengan activity ni. Kecuali kalau you pergi pantai, you akan buat banana boat, you akan buat jet ski. Tapi di Sabah previously, okay, sebelum pandemic, dia dah ada a new activity yang yang Allah Akbar, you daripada kapal, then you boleh terbang, ada balon tu tapi menggunakan tali daripada boat. Okay, boat tu bergerak, so you duduk di atas di udara menggunakan balon yang ditarik oleh boat di bawah. Saya tak ingat dah nama apa aktiviti tu nama apa. Okay, so this is all the activity created untuk menarik lebih ramai orang datang ke tempat tu. Okay, so special interest ni sebenarnya bagus sebabnya this is how you can get people to come to your places. Sebab tu saya kata kalau travel agency ataupun tourism operator ni you tak being creative, you didn't get chances to attract people to come to your places. Okay, sebab tu you kena tengok, you kena faham each of the element ataupun what are the factors motivate people to go or to travel to that particular places. Okay, kalau macam spa and beauty ni dia lebih kepada health and wellness tourism untuk prevent and conserve you punya health punya elements. Okay, ada orang pergi travel because dia nak release dia punya stress, dia nak body dia nak prevent from having any illness. Ada orang travel medical tourism for example because of they want to get a cure from their illness. So ini dua benda yang berbeza antara health tourism dengan medical tourism. Okay, so siapa group yang dapat health tourism dengan medical tourism tu, make sure you get understand your definitions ataupun the concept of each the elements tu. Okay, jangan tertukar. Okay, horse riding. Ini biasalah di Malaysia pun ada banyak tempat-tempat yang menawarkan aktiviti macam ni. Okay, parachuting. Parachuting juga sekarang ni yang betul-betul formal parachuting adalah army je. Okay, askar. But now ada beberapa company di luar negara yang start offer aktiviti ni di Malaysia. Dan yang terbaru adalah kalau you tengok dia orang buat parachute daripada dia orang tak naik helikopter dah. Dia orang akan terjun daripada KLCC, Menara Petronas contohnya. So dia pergi ke tempat yang paling tinggi and then dia buat aktiviti parachuting. Ini yang terbaru dan dia buat I'm not sure Malaysian Book of Record juga last year ataupun last 2 years. Dia buat program parachuting di KLCC. Okay, dia orang terjun ramai-ramai daripada KLCC itu and then dia membentuk satu saya tak ingat satu apa dia panggil ni design di awan lah sebelum dia orang terjun dia orang turun ke bawah. Okay, so parachuting ni biasanya memerlukan required expert dan juga license. You cannot simply do that activity without you get the permission ataupun the license from the required organisation lah yang allow you. Ataupun ada orang dipanggil skydiving parachuting ni. Okay, dulu orang familiar dengan skydiving lah. In fact sekarang ada orang buat skydiving dekat saya tak ingat dekat KLCC ataupun Menara Petronas juga. You masuk dalam satu not bangunan lah. Dia duduk dalam bangunan tapi duduk dalam satu box. Which box tu you pakai pakaian parachute semua. Cuma you terbang di dalam box tu. Tapi you dapatlah that feeling as a skydiving tu, parachuting tu. Cuma dia punya environment tu adalah you berada di dalam box tu. So kalau you tengok that activity tu, itu juga antara perkara yang orang cuba nak ketengahkan to get the experience. Not real experience but at least you get that feeling tu, how to be a parachutist ataupun how to get the skydiving punya experience. Okay? Alright, survival. Survival juga antara special interest tourism. Therefore, ramai orang buat adventurous activity, eco-tourism, they go for survival. Okay, they have their own activity and they cook for themselves. They have their own activity lah to gain the real experience of survival. Biasanya survival ni army je, askar, polis, tentera dan sebagainya. Tapi but now we as a visitors juga we get that chances to feel the feeling of being a survivor. Okay, so tu antara aktiviti-aktiviti yang ada lah, yang saya sempat search untuk get you understand of the activities. Sebenarnya dalam travel and tours ni, tugas travel agency ni adalah biasanya untuk create activity, to create a package. But the activity itself adalah provide by the suppliers tu. That's why kalau you ada duit, you nak buka resort for example, ataupun you ada sebidang tanah, you don't know what to do, then you have to create a package, you have to create activity supaya bila you ada tanah, you create accommodation punya places, you kena ada activity di dalam tu. Okay, kalau you ada kawasan yang cantik pun, tapi kalau you tak ada activity, people doesn't go to your places. Okay, sebab tu sekarang banyak tempat-tempat ataupun kita panggil small area ataupun di kawasan-kawasan yang terpencil, they create accommodation punya area tapi they provide with the activity. Sebab orang bila pergi travel, dia akan tanya, okay, aktiviti apa boleh buat kat situ. So that's why dia datang dengan accommodation dan activity tu together. Tak ada makanan, it's okay lagi, they can find ataupun they can cook for their own. Tapi bila tak ada aktiviti ni, orang tak akan pergi ke tempat you. Okay, that's why kalau you tengok you perasan di Janda Baik, di Bentong, along di Janda Baik punya area tu, ramai local people, in fact orang yang kaya-kaya beli tanah kat situ, provide a resort, develop a resort, hotel dan sebagainya, but dia punya main resource dia hanyalah air terjun je. Okay, so dia buat resort di tepi air terjun, dia create activity kat situ, then people can go. That's why adanya program family day, adanya program team building dan sebagainya, hanya kerana diorang ada sumber ataupun resources yang available di kawasan tersebut. Okay, so kerja travel agency ni pula basically dia hanya provide the package je lah. Dia beli daripada orang, travel agent, hotel ke, resort ke, theme park ke mana-mana, dia create their own package and then dia jual kepada customer. Jadi customer yang mana diorang rasa diorang malas nak urus sendiri package ataupun tempat-tempat yang diorang nak pergi, then dia can ask the advice from the travel agency, the travel agency yang akan plankan untuk diorang. Jadi in that case tu memudahkan turis tu sendiri ataupun customer tu, instead of dia deal dengan one by one operator ni tu transportation dan sebagainya, jadi dia hanya deal dengan travel agency saja. Jadi travel agency akan uruskan semua. Dia just bawa bag, bawa duit, bayar everything and then travel agency akan uruskan untuk dia. Okay, that's why travel agency ni dia tak ada own resort dia sendiri pun, dia tak ada own kapal terbang dia sendiri pun. Dia ambil daripada orang dan dia come up with their own package ataupun their own product tu untuk dijual kepada customer. Right? So I think yang lain-lain ni is a change of the holiday center ni doesn't much lah. Is more on how what are the changing happen in our country right now. Okay, kalau dulu orang prefer untuk luxury punya package, but nowadays people prefer to have a nature punya activity. Sebab tu ramai orang tak suka pergi ke bandar pun. Contohnya orang KL dia takkan travel ataupun cari 5-star hotel pun, sebab dia memang duduk dekat 5-star ataupun dekat city area. So they can go to the rural area ataupun nature area to get the nature punya experience. Sebab tu ramai orang suka balik ke kampung ataupun ke kawasan luar bandar untuk menikmati alam semula jadi tu tadi. Alright? Okay, last topik yang saya nak discuss dengan you, there are few term juga yang you kena faham. Saya rasa kalau student hospitality mungkin tak ada masalah pun. Okay, apa perbezaan bagi setiap word ni? Okay, hotel, motel, inn, resort dan juga chalet. Okay, ini antara jenis-jenis accommodation yang you kena faham karakteristik dia. Okay, supaya bila you create package nanti you tak tersalah tulis. Okay, so saya go very brief. Okay, hotel normally hotel adalah di dalam satu bangunan. Okay, 4 tingkat ke berapa tingkat ke in one building. So hotel ni akan provide bilik ataupun dia panggil other services lah macam gym ke whatsoever. Hotel normally they recognize by using a star, 5 star, 4 star, 3 star, and must be registered under Malaysian Hotel Association, MHA. Okay. Kalau motels biasanya dia lebih kecil dan bilangan motel ni compare to hotel, hotel is more than 100 room kalau tak salah saya, 50 room gitu. Kalau motel is a very simple and it been recognized or certified as a ORCID star. Okay, dia tak panggil 4 star, 5 star tapi dia panggil ORCID, 4 ORCID, 3 ORCID. So dia punya level, dia punya ranking dia tu kalau you dapat 5 ORCID, you akan dapat apa dia panggil ni high level of ranking. Motel in ataupun motel in ataupun budget hotel ni you kena register bawah Malaysian Budget Hotel. Okay, so dia ada two different thing. Kalau you required untuk ataupun kalau you ada duit, you nak build up hotel, you kena ikut specific hotel punya requirement sebab dia ada apa policy and procedure. Okay, apa beza resort, chalet dengan hotel? Hotel ni normally location lah, perbezaan dia adalah in term of location. Hotel biasanya berada di dalam bandar, city. Resort dengan chalet biasanya berada di tepi pesisir pantai ataupun di pulau. Okay, sebab tu kalau you perasan nama-nama hotel ni akan mempengaruhi lokasi hotel tersebut. That's why contohnya Cerating Beach and Resort contohnya sebab dia berada di pesisir pantai Kuantan. So ada orang buat Cerating holiday villa hotels and resort. Sebabnya dia bangunkan juga hotel tapi dalam bentuk building, hotel tapi di tepi pantai. Okay, cuma beza resort dengan chalet ni adalah reka bentuk dia. Chalet dengan resort dia lebih kepada macam rumah lah ataupun dia buat dalam bentuk apa nama ni, tak kisahlah bentuk apa guna buluh ke whatsoever tapi dia lebih kepada one small house. Okay, rumah-rumah yang dibina untuk dijadikan resort ataupun chalet. Dia bukan dalam satu bangunan yang tinggi yang provide 50 ke 100, 200 bilik dan sebagainya. Itu beza nama antara hotel, motel, inn, resort and chalet. So bila you nak buat package ataupun you nak provide you punya calculation costing untuk setiap package, you kena tengok karakteristik ataupun the differences between each of the element tersebut. Okay. Kalau macam making hotel reservation, saya rasa kalau hospitality macam tadi dia tak ada masalah lah. You tahu what are the elements for hotel reservation. Kalau untuk wellness, sometimes untuk you buat nak buat reservation each of the hotel tu ataupun resort ke chalet ke tak kisahlah. Diorang ada prosedur diorang sendiri. Right now, most of the hotel ni dia become more apa dia panggil ni friendly users lah. Dia dah tak perlu call, you just WhatsApp ataupun text dia akan layan you untuk hotel reservation. Tapi kalau 5 star sometimes luxury hotel, they didn't allow you to leave a message. You have to call them book and you have to pay for deposit first before you can make a reservation to secure lah, to get a secure of your reservation itu tadi. Okay, kalau untuk budget hotel, motel dan sebagainya, sometimes they just allow you, they are become friendly because if you didn't check in pun dia tak rugi apa-apa pun, right? Because they just book on behalf of the customer saja, right? Okay, so I think with that itu saja topik kita untuk hari ini. We already discuss on what are the product and services yang di offer di travel agency ataupun dia offer by the suppliers tapi dijual oleh travel agency dan juga tour operators yang ada di Malaysia ataupun di luar negara. Okay, before saya brief you apa yang you perlu buat untuk next week, ada apa-apa soalan untuk this week punya topik? Are you okay? Clear apa yang saya explain? Kalau you tak boleh nak beritahu pun, you just leave your message dekat chat room just comment anything, apa-apa isu ataupun apa nama tu, comment ke whatsoever you punya personal opinion ke, leave your message dekat chat room. Nanti dia akan record dan nanti saya akan baca. So far okay semua topik ni? Ada apa-apa yang you nak tanya?
Doktor,
Ya.
kalau untuk group assignment maksudnya dia fokus dalam topik ni lah kan?
Betul.
Okay. So contohnya untuk create tourism package tu, maksudnya yang all inclusive package, full board package tu lah untuk tourism package, create tourism package tu.
Untuk group project
Yes.
Okay, group project you, sekejap saya nak ni balik, recall balik sebab saya takut saya tertukar dengan rekreasi. Group project you apa dah? Saya suruh buat apa?
Create tourism package according to theme yang viral dan trending.
Okay. Sebab saya takut saya tersalah explain sebab saya ada satu kelas lagi yang lain. Okay. Untuk for example, macam kalau you punya package, you punya group kena buat medical tourism for example. Contohlah kan. Jadi each of group members tu akan buat medical tourism punya package tapi dalam lokasi yang berbeza, dalam produk yang berbeza ataupun servis yang berbeza. It's up to you. Kalau contoh you buat tentang honeymoon package, so setiap seorang tu akan buat honeymoon package di lokasi yang berbeza. Mungkin ada orang buat honeymoon package di Langkawi, ada orang buat honeymoon package di Pulau Tioman for example. Tapi dalam setiap package tu apa yang you nak offer? Adakah you nak offer all in package? Adakah you nak offer full board package? Adakah you nak offer half board package? Okay, so benda-benda macam tu dia ada dalam topik ni, chapter ni. Cuma you olah dia dalam bentuk package. That's why nanti next week saya akan ajar you untuk buat itinerary program pula. Lepas tu following week saya akan ajar you untuk buat full package tu tadi. Macam mana nak design, macam mana nak develop that package. So along of our topic ni nanti, at the end of the day nanti, at the end of this semester nanti barulah you come up dengan you punya your own package. Okay, yang you kena buat individually dalam group tu tadi. Cuma sekarang ni you get all the ideas dulu. Contoh kalau you kata you kena buat adventure tourism, island tourism contohnya, you cari spesifik, you dah bahagikan setiap kumpulan tu, okay kau fokus kat ni, kau fokus kat ni. Jadi by the time bila saya dah habis ajar you buat itinerary program and then develop a package dan sebagainya, barulah you start create your own package untuk you hantar for your group project. Sebab yang tu you buat by video kan, saya minta you create a video kan, betul tak? Kan saya suruh write up.
Create website atau blog.
So maksudnya nanti baru you masukkan dalam you punya website tu, each of the elements tu and then each of the members tu masukkan semua dalam website you, and then dia akan ada, okay contohnya you create lah nama company you adalah ABC Travel and Tours. Dalam ABC Travel and Tours ni we only focus on jenis package apa, adventure tourism for example. So dalam adventure tourism tu nanti akan ada 8 jenis package yang berbeza. Benda tu yang you akan hasilkan for your group project. Is it clear?
Okay, clear Dr.
Okay. Okay, faham Alright. So kalau tak ada apa-apa, saya nak brief you untuk next week punya lecture. So saya nak setiap seorang, kalau ada kawan-kawan you yang tak datang ke hari ni ke ataupun terleft ke ataupun mengleftkan diri you sendiri, okay, so make sure next week saya nak starting esok lah, starting hari ni you cari, bring a sample of itinerary program for group tour package. Group Maksudnya itinerary ni adalah package ataupun contohnya kalau you cari 3 days 2 night package to Pulau Tioman contohnya. So saya nak you tunjukkan day 1 buat apa, day 2 buat apa, day 3 buat apa. Okay, so saya nak you cari je, cari yang daripada internet yang dah ada. Kalau boleh cari package ni atau itinerary ni package yang dalam negara je, jangan cari yang luar negara. Okay, kalau boleh cari yang terbaru lah, yang 2000, yang the latest. And then kalau paling ni pun you cari yang dekat negeri you sendirilah, yang you boleh explain. Contohnya saya dapat cari package 3 hari 2 malam di Langkawi contohnya. So bila orang di Langkawi 3 hari 2 malam, apa yang dia boleh buat? Day 1 buat apa, day 2 buat apa, day 3 buat apa. Saya nak you just dapatkan je, cari contoh tu saja. You tak perlu buat apa-apa, cari, next week kita akan bincangkan. Okay? Boleh? Ada apa-apa nak tanya? Tak ada? Semua okay?
Okey doktor.
Okay, so next week, bila sebelum kelas next week, saya nak semua orang, nanti saya akan create folder dalam Google Classroom tu, itinerary, sample of itinerary. So sebelum kelas next week, saya nak semua orang upload sample itinerary tu dalam folder tu. Okay, jadi nanti dalam lecture nanti saya tahu siapa yang cari itinerary ni, sebab saya tahu setiap seorang susah nak present dalam ni. Jadi sebelum kelas next week, you upload you punya itinerary tu dalam Google Classroom.
Doktor, yang itinerary tu nak dalam PDF form atau image boleh?
Tak kisah, mana-mana je. Kalau boleh dalam PDF ataupun image je lah. Jangan dalam bentuk Word ataupun dalam bentuk lain-lain daripada tu lah. Kalau you jumpa dalam bentuk Word pun, you save dalam bentuk PDF lah.
Okay,
kalau boleh you
doktor.
cari yang established daripada mana-mana travel agency ke, daripada mana-mana source yang valid lah. Okay? Semua okay? Ada apa-apa persoalan? Ada apa-apa nak tanya?
Doktor.
Okay, so ni saya dah createkan apa nama ni the itinerary sample. So nanti you akan masukkan contoh-contoh itinerary yang you dapat ni dalam folder ni. Okay? So next week sebelum kelas next week saya make sure semua yang dalam group kelas ni yang registered join class and then masukkan you punya dokumen dalam tu. So sekali lagi saya tunjukkan dekat screen ni adalah kod untuk join Google Classroom ni. Make sure semua orang boleh masuk dalam Google Classroom dan semua submission tutorial ke, sebab lepas ni tutorial you akan lebih kepada design package, design itinerary dan sebagainya. Jadi dah tak banyak quiz-quiz dalam e-learning lah. So semua tu akan saya upload dalam you kena upload dalam e-learning punya dalam Google Classroom. Okay, so last but not least, ada apa-apa you nak tanya ataupun nak share apa-apa lagi before we end our session?
Doktor, yang form yang doktor hantar tu, yang macam assignment individual semua tu, dalam kelas work tu kan? Ke memang dia tak naik dekat saya punya ni, sebab saya dah masuk dah, cuma dia tak naik apa-apa. Dia just tulis situ, dia kosong je dekat
Orang lain
kelas tu.
sama ke? Sebab ini apa yang appear dalam saya punya Google Classroom.
Nanti
Saya pun sama.
screenshot hantar dekat dalam Telegram.
Boleh? So kalau maksudnya dekat dalam Google Classroom you tak nampak apa-apa yang kat sini?
Tak
Yes,
nampak.
betul.
Semua orang tak ada?
Saya pun tak ada.
Saya pun tak ada doktor.
Oh, really? Okay, let me try.
Ada saya hantar dekat Telegram tu, doktor.
Sekejap. View all classwork here. Kalau you klik view ni pun tak ada. Maksudnya semua orang yang apa dalam you punya Google Classroom pun you akan jadi macam ni ke?
Ya doktor.
Kalau you klik dekat view all classwork here pun tak keluar apa-apa.
Ya, dia keluar kosong je doktor.
Okay, sekejap. Kalau saya buat sekarang, cuba you check balik ya, apa saya nak buat tadi? Okay. Sekarang ni saya create saya cuba delete balik. Okay, cuba you tengok dalam Google Classroom you, ada tak? Yang assignment.
Ada doktor?
Ada?
Ada dah.
Okay, so saya akan delete. Saya akan delete balik semua. Nanti saya akan create yang baru.
Alright doktor.
Okay. So thank you so much. Kalau tak ada apa-apa, lepas ni apa-apa saya akan upload dalam Google Classroom. Okay, so make sure siapa yang belum join, tolong join. Sebabnya saya kena make sure semua ada 99 orang dalam Google Classroom. Okay, so kalau tak ada apa-apa, thank you so much for being loyal to this class until at the end of our session. Thank you so much for there is no attendance Google form for this week. Okay, so I hope that everybody can scan QR code ataupun yang mana ada problem, you can leave your message dekat chat room. Right? Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you, doktor.
Yes doktor.
Thank you doktor.